to our capacity building webinar. I'm Una Aiken, I'm President of Volunteer Up, and I'm going to be chairing the session today. Welcome to everybody who's following on Zoom and everyone who's following on the Facebook live stream. And just before we start, I want to offer a big thanks to Piotr for setting this up, to all the speakers, and to Adeline, Alex and Laura who are on comms, whom you can't see, but they're crucial to the success of our webinar. This is our first capacity building webinar following the election of the new board of Volunteer Up. And one of the big commitments we made to the members of Volunteer Up is that we would try to meet their needs. And capacity building is something that's absolutely vital to the members of Volunteer Up and its partners. So this is a really important capacity building event for us. You're going to hear from a fabulous lineup of speakers today. We've got people joining us from all across the globe, I can say that confidently, from Belgium, from Spain, from Greece, the Netherlands, and South Korea, and Scotland. So we've got really, really interesting contributions from the speakers. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about the place of volunteering in the in the response to COVID. And we're going to think today about what the best practices will be when the restrictions are lifted, and we can take forward the post-pandemic recovery. And of course, our focus is on a more socially just, inclusive and sustainable society. So we're going to hear about how civil society organisations, foundations and educational institutions have been cooperating together, have been working together and trying to make more resilient and safe and cohesive communities. So before we close, I'm going to give everybody the chance to make their 1-minute pitch, key messages to external stakeholders, policymakers, decision makers, governments, and I'll just take it in the order that you spoke. So Gabriella, you can go first.
Thank you, Una, and thanks to everybody for your contributions. It's been really interesting. My message is based on a statement that we issued from CEV regarding the road to recovery, which is asking for policymakers to step up a gear regarding volunteering policies and programs. We're asking for them to take this moment as an opportunity to change gear regarding how they approach volunteering, with an increased focus, increased intensity, and increased speed of investment and partnership development with volunteer involving organizations and volunteer infrastructure organizations. We really believe that this will lead to a situation that more properly reflects the importance, the energy, the expertise, the commitments that volunteers have for the health and well-being and solidarity in Europe. And we hope that all of this will take place without any danger or risk of exploiting volunteers in for-profit settings. So we call on all policymakers to really make this change of gear, change their attitudes, and change citizens' attitudes as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ana Rosa.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody's contribution. It was really interesting to listen to all of you. I would say 2 quick messages as a closure. First, that society does exist, and that solidarity is a big part as a political value of the response. So again, we have in the public debate the importance of citizens' responses, citizens' networks, and public policy oriented to protect and to create social cohesion. This is back again to the public debate, and this is very important because somehow it was being left behind of the public debates. And the second element is that I think we had a glimpse of how the digital world of the future will be, how our personal and professional lives will develop in the future, and we could see the challenges and the opportunities that this will bring us in the future. And I think it was evident that women's rights should still be a very relevant element of the agenda if we want to advance a world of human rights and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ana Rosa. Jinman, are you still with us? Do you want to give us your 1-minute message?
Okay. I think preparing recurrence of the pandemic to other global crises. All our Korean school will develop toward the next level of system for teaching, learning and hygiene, which will guarantee students' learning, health and well-being. It was good to join you too. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria?
Yeah, very difficult because everything has already been voiced so eloquently, but I'll do my best. I would start with there is no real substitute for human presence. And irrespective of online, offline, human presence and humanity in general is very much needed in every circumstance and in every difficult situation we face as a humanity. So I would say, let's work on a framework, like Gabriela said, but in a participatory and open process with all the stakeholders on board. Let's learn from our successes and from our challenges that we have faced. And our deepest desire and the deepest message we want to get across is let's continue to showcase our volunteers as the true role models in a world where we lack role models by far, and we lack inspiration for our young people, our young generation. These are the people we should be focusing on. They should not be a breaking news and then forget about it. Let's invest on ways as Europe and the rest of the world to continue to showcase them as the true heroes, the true role models, and true inspiration that comes out of real life stories, because lives get enriched, citizens get mature and better, and the society gets better. So we need to work on it.
Thank you, very powerful message there. Sana?
Here, Maria, thank you. Short message. I think we have to be aware of the gap between the healthy, unhealthy, the young and the old. Like I said, we have to try to keep everyone together and start with a look at ourselves, the volunteers, all the volunteers. So especially keep the older generation of volunteers and the vulnerable health, or volunteers with vulnerable health, keep them together. We know how many incredibly big challenges are facing us, and we need them all. So again, as a voluntary sector, we empower people, and now we need to empower our volunteers. I would say thank you.
Thank you, Sana. Sunyoung.
Thank you very much for this opportunity tonight. We are facing unexpected and unknown future. So we have to live together and we have to work together. And also we have to take care of each other. And it's time for actually global citizenship. Thank you very much.
Well said, global citizenship. Yeah, and Paul, you, apart from me, you get the last word.
I mean, I think I pretty much did my 1 minute summary after my cutting off of Wi-Fi. So, I mean, the only thing I may add is, you know, however difficult this has been, and it has been difficult for many organisations and many people, you know, there's lots of really good learning that's come from this, and I think it's incumbent on us all to sort of take a breath, have a think about all the different things, and take 2 or 3 practical things away from it. That means if a second wave of COVID hits, or indeed some other emergency occurs in the next 6 months, what are the 2 or 3 things we've learned that we can do differently that mean we'll be that bit better next time? And that's what we're now starting to reflect on, is what we do in the next crisis that hits us, and what learnings we've got from this.
Great, thanks very much. So I'm not going to try and summarise all that's been said today. We've ranged around a massive number of topics. All I'm going to say is thank you very much to those of you who asked questions posted on our Q&A and chat. And thanks to everybody who joined by Facebook or by Zoom. And finally, a huge thanks to all of you who have contributed today as panelists. We've had a real, as I said earlier, we've had a real sort of tour de monde. We've heard all sorts of different experiences from around the world, and it's been a fabulous webinar. So thank you all very much indeed. Thanks again to Piotr, Alex, Adeline and Laura for the comms and setting up, and look forward to seeing you all soon, probably online, but maybe one day face to face. So thank you. Bye bye everyone.